As 2024 wraps up and 2025 is just around the corner, I was doing some reflecting on my year, and of course, we're all doing it at this point right now. And one of the biggest things I noticed is that there was an overall theme to my year that was holding me back in both my tennis game and my personal life. Now, I've called it just being stuck in the middle. Now, this is not in any way related to the song Stuck in the Middle, but this is what I've noticed. Now, if I were a betting man, I would say you've probably felt like this at some point in your life before. You have a ton of different options. It can be as little as two or as many as infinite options. And you're just analyzing everything, you're figuring out everything, but you actually just don't make the decision because you're still trying to figure everything out. This has happened to me a lot, especially when my family is trying to decide where to go and get food, and I absolutely hate it. Now, to make this a little bit more, I'll say, just understandable, I'll use a recent tennis example that has been going on in my actual tennis playing career. So with this, we'll make it over here and we'll use a different color. But recently, I've been playing more matches, and I've noticed is that we have my opponent over here, we have me over here, and then a poorly drawn tennis court. Ta-da. I know it looks bad, but stay with me. It'll just keep going. We'll have another line. Ta-da. So recently I was playing these matches and I lost very badly. So the first match I lost, what was it? I lost 0-6, 1-6, and 1-6 again. I know. I got clobbered. And then the second match, I lost 1-6 and 2-6. Now, with these scores, as you can obviously see, these are pretty terrible. And so when I was reflecting back on what was going on, I was thinking back to why this might have happened. Now, when I was quite a bit younger and I was playing in high school, this is the fact that my entire strategy was just to get the ball back onto a good position into the court and just wait for my opponent to miss. It ended up working out pretty well for me because I was able to make it to second singles on varsity my sophomore year of high school, as well as I won my conference championship in my senior year. So I had pretty good results with this strategy. But now, as I'm playing much better guys who have been playing a lot longer than me, and I would say, have a leg up on me right now, this obviously, as the scores dictate, is not working anymore. Now, as I was playing, one of the big things I did realize is that I did tend to stay behind the baseline a lot more, as most modern tennis players do nowadays. So we would have a back and forth rally. We're just hitting cross court or we go down the line. But here's the thing that I would do that really would suck for me. Now, if you've played tennis for a while or if you're just starting out, you know that this area right here, so let's say this is the area right here, right behind the service boxes, but right in front of the baseline. This is no man's land, and you never want to be caught in no man's land. Because if you're right here, and we'll use red again, so if I'm right here, I've moved right there into no man's land, I have a very, very high possibility of getting past. So my opponent could hit right there to me, extremely hard for me to get that ball. They could hit it short here into the corner, very hard for me to get there. Or if I'm right there, because I'm just in a bad position, if they hit it right here, I might be able to get to it, but I'm in a very bad position to just try and barely get this over the net where they can come in and close out the point. It is a harsh place to be. And no man's land, the reason I feel like I was getting stuck in there so much is because I would hit, say, a decent approach, and let's say they were over here. They weren't cross court. They were over here on me. I'd hit a semi-decent approach shot. It was about right there. But they would get to it because, like I said, these guys have been playing a little bit longer and they actually understand tennis a little bit better than I do in terms of playing it. So I would end up following the ball, but I get stuck right here in no man's land, which, again, not a good idea. And then, of course, because they are much more attuned to this, I get passed, or I just have no idea what to do up there because I'm like, oh, wait, what's happening now? I just stop myself from actually moving up to the net in order to maybe hit a volley next turn, or I'm just sitting there because I'm like, do I go back to the baseline? Do I go to the net? Do I go back? Do I go to the right, to the left? What am I doing? I'm stuck in the middle of the court, literally, as well as I'm just stuck in the middle of trying to make a decision in my mind. I see this all the time with myself playing, and that's one of the biggest things I'm going to be working on in 2025 is just actually making a decision and sticking with it. Because this is tennis. This is a finite game. It's not infinite. Everything else, great. We're only playing to this amount in sets or maybe even 2 sets. It's not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Just play the game, have fun, make a decision. It'll help tremendously. Now, another place that I've also seen this kind of stuck in the middle framework take place, especially with me, is going to be when actually demoing, whether it be rackets or strings. My gosh, I cannot make a decision right now from just demoing all this stuff. I demo a lot of rackets both here for the channel and for the actual just my job itself. I demo a ton of rackets and I demo a ton of string. The thing is, though, if I would just make a decision, and if you're in the same boat with me, if we just made a decision, we stuck with one because there's going to be no perfect racket, there's going to be no perfect string. There's some that are going to be very helpful. There's some that are going to be a lot more, I will just say enhanceful, that are going to enhance our game a little bit better. There's some that we just might like better. There's probably never going to be a perfect thing, though. So we might as well just make a decision, stick with it, play with it, and then just keep going. It's that way of just making the decision, not thinking about it for so long to where we just get stuck, don't do anything, and we just stay where we're at, not actually growing or continuing to improve at all. I personally can't stand it, and that's why I kick myself every single time when I'm like, oh, I should get that racket for me. I think that would work really well. Or it's like, oh, I really like that string. And then I just don't do it because I'm like, oh no, I have to test all these other ones, especially for work, and so I can help other people with their job. If you don't know, I work in a tennis store and I've worked there for the past 7+ years. So I'm constantly recommending rackets and strings to people. So that's where I fall into the trap, as well as just reviewing them for here. But again, stuck here in the middle because I can't make a decision. And all of this is essentially just me yelling at myself because I'm just like, dude, you know what you're doing. Just stop. You know what you like. Make a decision, stick with it. But I'm just like, but there's so much more. And even outside of tennis, this has also been prevalent, like I said earlier, in my personal life as well from 2024 to 2025. And it was the fact that I would try and look at all the different options for anything that was presented to me, and it's way too much. It takes way too long. I've missed out on way too many just different kinds of relationships I could have had with some pretty cool people I thought would have been really good friends. I lost out on some great deals. I lost out on some experiences that I won't have the chance to get back. And overall, it's just not gonna do anything. I'm just wasting my time, wasting my brain power, trying to make a decision when I'm not actually considering all the other options. I'm just trying to delay action and delay taking the next steps because I'm apparently comfortable with where I'm at, which in actuality, I'm not. I want to get better. I want to improve just because I understand that it is only this one chance that we get. There is no do-over. There is no split test at life. This is it. And I know it is kind of a little bit darker, but we don't get a second chance once our time is up. So we might as well make a decision, get out of the middle, and just keep going and do what we want because, again, we don't get another option. So that's one of my biggest things, especially going into 2024 to 2025. I have noticed this way too much this year and just throughout my entire 23 years of just living on this planet. Yes, you heard that right. I am only 23. If you want to know how I got into tennis and just kind of like how in the world I'm 23 and my tennis story, it's in the description down below for you to actually watch and listen to. Not listen to, I don't know why I said that, but you can actually just read it if you're interested. But that's my biggest thing. Just making an actual decision that I know and you probably know as well is going to help better your life in order to just make sure that you get the most out of it while we're here. So, with that being said, are you gonna keep being stuck in the middle and just letting that actual decision just hold you back the entire time? Or you gotta make the decision, enjoy life. Because maybe if you make that decision, your life will turn out even better than you think it will be. But just get out of your head, make the decision, and go for it. So, with that being said, if you like the video, leave a like on it. Comment down below what your goals are, whether it be tennis related or personal, here in 2025 as we wrap up the year of 2024. Let me know what you're thinking and subscribe to the channel so that we can grow this channel and get the information out there from the people that have it to the people that need it. So, with that being said, as always, take care.